In 1925, F. Scott Fitzgerald penned what many believed to be the penultimate cautionary tale of chasing the American dream. However, it was not until his story was adapted for the small screen that the tale truly comes into form. In The Great Gatsby, you play as Nick Carraway, a Midwesterner who came to the Long Island to seek his fortune during the summer of 1922. You start off at one of Gatsby's lavish parties. Using your straw boating hat as a weapon, you make your way through the sea of revelers until you come upon the owl-eyed man who exclaims of Gatsby's books, "It's a bona fide piece of printed matter. You fooled me. This fella's a regular Belasco. It's a triumph. What thoroughness, what realism. Knew when to stop, too. Didn't cut the pages. But what do you want? What do you expect?" This is our first clue as the audience, that not all is what it seems with Gatsby's personal image. He hasn't even read the books on his own shelves. As we make our way through the garden, we encounter drunkards high on bootleg hooch and flapper girls doing the Charleston, all to the hypnotic rhythm of the hottest, newest thing, jazz music. The party comes to a head as several opulent chandeliers come crashing down around us, as we finally find the man himself, the Great Gatsby. He stands on the grass looking out over the water at a mysterious green light, and in the next moment, he is gone. Next, we ride a train into an area the book describes as a fantastic farm where ashes grow like wheat into ridges and hills and grotesque gardens. This area clearly represents the folly of industry and the ways that man poisons his own home. But, much like the owl-eyed man at the party, a large billboard for an eye doctor gives Nick the impression of being judged by the eyes of God. Above the gray land and the spasms of bleak dust which drift endlessly over it, you perceive after a moment the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. The eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg are blue and gigantic. Their retinas are 1 yard high. They look out of no face, but instead from a pair of enormous yellow spectacles which pass over a non-existent nose. We are then treated to a brief scene of Gatsby showing Tom's wife Daisy his collection of nice shirts. This Pythagorean display of wealth moves Daisy to tears in what is easily the most awkward part of any adaptation of this story. Eventually, Tom finds out that his wife is in love with Gatsby, because, well, who isn't? He makes the whole gang go out to New York so he can confront Gatsby in a hotel. Nick is stuck outside, having to fight like 800 people. Afterwards, Tom decides to send his wife back home with Gatsby as a way to prove something, I guess. All the while, Nick Carraway is stuck in New York fighting drunks and rats and crocodiles, a bunch of mobsters and waiters, and the White Sox and their corrupt manager who rigged the 1919 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds. Meanwhile, as Gatsby's car is speeding down the road with Tom's wife Daisy inside, everything is going terrible until things get worse. The car hits and kills Tom's mistress. And as it turns out, Tom's mistress also had a husband who was now pissed about his dead wife. The husband ends up killing Gatsby to death by murdering the life from him with a gun. As the summer ends and everyone goes back to school, Nick Carraway ends up on the beach on the other side of the water from where the party was at the beginning of our story. It is here that he wrestles with the ghosts of his wild summer, as well as several enemy crabs and fish. When he finally sees the green light that Gatsby had spent his life looking at, searching for, he realizes the futility of hope. He realizes that Gatsby spent his life chasing something, selling himself, pushing himself harder to achieve something that no one is really able to do. Live forever. And so, with the fall of the House of Gatsby, Nick decides to leave and head back home to the Midwest. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, and one fine morning. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. Hi, I'm Ezekiel Salzburg. We had a lot of fun today talking about The Great Gatsby, but reading is no joke. Visit your local library for other works by F. Scott Fitzgerald, like Tender is the Night, This Side of Paradise, or The Last Tycoon. Thank yourself for watching.